Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Valentina Arjona. I'm a professional hair and makeup artist based in Australia, and today I'm going to give you 7 tips for great hair. I've been trying to film this video for 3 days now and the weather is not helping me, so please bear with me with the lighting situation. It's either this or no video, so I'm so sorry. Back to the video, let's start with the tips. The first tip is probably something you were not expecting, and is that you have to define what great hair means to you. That's because not everyone wants to have the same kind of hair. For some people, having great hair means hair that is silky, smooth, no frizz at all, that is straight and has no volume. And even though that is beautiful hair, that is not what everyone wants. There's people like me that don't want that kind of hair. For me, great hair, or hair that I think is great for me, it's hair that has texture, that has volume, that has a little bit of depth in the color, that is shiny, and that looks healthy. It doesn't have to be 100% healthy, it just has to look healthy. I wanted to add this tip because once you understand what great hair means to you, then you can understand which tips to follow, which people to follow for your hair or for the hair that you want, and which tips just don't apply to you. And you're going to stop wasting time trying to follow certain tips that lead to results that you don't want in your hair. The second tip is to cut your hair whenever you need it. There is a lot of versions of how often you should cut your hair. Some people say it's 2 months, some people say it's every 6 months. I don't know. Even though we might have different opinions on what great hair looks like, I think we can all agree that hair that is very dry, that looks like a broom, that the ends are very burned, it's just not great hair. It doesn't look good. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me or if I'm crazy. Oh, Valentina, but I want my hair long, so I just don't cut it. Well, if you want your hair long, then cut less and take care of it while it grows. But if your hair is burned and dry, it doesn't matter how long it is, that's not going to take care of itself. Make it longer is not going to fix the problem, and it's never going to look good. I'm sorry. A few years ago, I used to cut my hair every 2 to 3 months, and I had it so super long and super healthy, and I think it's the longest I've ever had it. Right now, I cut it every 6 months, something like that, just because I want a different look. And it's not really that I cut it every 6 months, it's that when I look in the mirror and I see certain things, I understand that it's time to cut my hair. In my case, I know that it's time to cut my hair when I feel it dry, when my ends don't have movement. If I move my hair moves kind of in a block, and when it's hard to style. If I do a hairstyle, I have to do it a few times to get it right. And when I cut my hair and I do the exact same hairstyle, then it's super easy and works perfectly. So I know that's the moment where I'm like, okay, I need to cut my hair. And when I see this, I just go and cut it myself. I cut my own hair, but you feel free to go to a hairstylist and just do it whenever you feel that you need it. It doesn't have to be every 2 months, and it doesn't have to be every 6 months. It could be in 3 months, and then in 6 months, and then in 2 months. There's no rules. Really depends on your daily routine and your own hair. The next tip is to sleep with your hair up. Listen, this is a new one for me. I've never followed this before, and when I heard this reason, it just blew my mind. I know you've heard these statistics before, but a normal person should at least sleep 8 hours every night, and we spend pretty much a third of our lives sleeping. That's like 25 years of an average person. And if you don't put your hair up, it's 8 hours every night that you're just applying friction to your hair and heat, because you produce heat during the night with the pillow, with the blanket, with the friction, a lot of heat with your hair every single day for 8 hours straight every night for like 25 years. Just don't do it. Don't do it. And you don't have to do a very intricate hairstyle. You only need one silk scrunchie like this one. Put it up very loosely, don't wear it too tight or anything, and that's it. You don't have to look cute, you just have to take your hair off your back. But now that we're talking about silk scrunchies, I am going to give you a bonus tip here. Change your pillowcase for a silk pillowcase. I know you've heard this everywhere, but now you know the reason. I'm going to link you down below the one that I use. I love it, and yes, it is a little bit on the expensive side, but after I understand how much time we spend sleeping, then I just think it's worth the investment. But I'm also going to try to link a few more affordable options for you to choose which one you prefer. The next tip is a few tips, but I'm going to put it all in one because it's all tips for the same kind of person and is for people that have curly hair. The first tip is that when you are parting your hair, don't do a straight line like this one. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle or on the side, but don't do a straight line like this. Do a zigzag parting instead. That will help to have more volume in the roots, and it's also going to help you diffuse the parting if you have very, very curly hair and you just don't really want to have a parting. Another tip for people with curly hair is don't be afraid to apply a lot of product. I know sometimes you can freak out and think that if you apply too much, it's going to weight your hair down and it's going to be a mess. But if you use a good quality product, I'm going to link a few that I recommend on the description box. It's really not going to weight your hair down. It's going to hydrate it, define the curls, and it's going to look so much better. You have to use a lot of product, so just don't be afraid. And if you prefer something more natural, then you can try to make linseed gel instead, that you can do at home, very affordable, and use it as your curl cream. It works beautiful. I actually have a video on my Spanish channel where I show how I do it and everything. I think I'm going to add English subtitles to that so you can see it, and I might even do a new one now that I have my hair long so you can see how it looks. Let me know in the comments if you'd like that. And yeah, it's super cheap, and I know that linseed and flaxseed have beautiful benefits for the hair. This next tip is a little bit corny, but it is very important, is to be gentle with your hair. You have to be gentle with your hair. It doesn't matter if you're applying very expensive hair treatments, if you are very rough with your hair, if you untangle your hair like a savage from the top down, or if you're applying a lot of friction to the ends of your hair when you're in the shower, it's going to damage your hair a lot. So the best tip I can give you is to be gentle with your hair. Because one of the most common problems for people is they complain that they lose a lot of hair. Most of the time, not in every case, but most of the time, it's not really that they're losing a lot of hair, but that the hair is breaking. And the most common reason for that is because of how they brush the hair. They're very rough, they start from the top down, and they just break the hair all the time. It doesn't really mean that you're losing your hair. It doesn't come off from the top, although it can. You can just rip your hair out, but most of the time it's just breaking. So because this tip is so important, my next tip is to untangle your hair properly, and I'm going to show you how. Always start from the bottom up. Start gentle in the ends of your hair and then slowly go up. You can do this with a brush, you can do this with a wide tooth comb, a wet brush if you're doing it while it's wet. It doesn't really matter if you're doing it the right way. And that's how you're going to get great hair, and you're going to avoid breaking your hair so much, and you're going to see a huge difference. And the seventh tip is that if you're going to use a hot tool, then always use heat protectant. I know this is a very common thing to hear. This might be very unpopular and people might come here to attack me, but I'm going to say it because this is something they taught me when I was in makeup school, and it's something that just stuck in my head forever, and it is how I've been taking care of my hair since then. They told me that if you apply product, not a heat protectant, but just product, it doesn't matter when you apply heat because that's going to act as a heat protectant. And look, I don't know, I can tell you if that is right or if it's wrong. I don't know, but since I bleached my hair the last time, because I've had it bleached before, I've been using the leave-in conditioner from Hask. It's been pretty much a year since I started using it very consistently. And one of the benefits that product has is that it's a heat protectant. And I have seen a difference in how much damage I have in my hair from using it to not using it. And look, I think of this as sunscreen. If you use a face cream that has sunscreen in it and then you go to the sun, it's going to be better than not wearing sunscreen at all. But it's always going to be better, way better, to use just a sunscreen that is not diluted with anything else and it's just acting as a sunscreen. So it's the same for the hair. Of course, if you put something in the hair, it's going to be better than nothing, but applying a heat protectant is going to be so much better. I don't know, that's what I think. And let me know in the comments which was your favorite tip, or if you have another tip that you want to share with me. I would love that. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!